Thanks for joining us. A public hearing and possible vote tonight on a Duluth Church's controversial proposal to offer the homeless a place to sleep has been put on hold.
As we've reported, the Vineyard Church on Arrowhead Road is working with other nonprofits to open what they're calling a safe bay in the church's parking lot. It would be a place for people who are homeless to park and safely sleep each night.
Northern News Now's Ryan Hayes is live from the church's parking lot. Ryan, why this last-minute change of plans here?
Church leaders told me there was a required sign letting people know about the Safe Bay proposal and tonight's meeting at the front entrance of the church. That sign was actually blown over during a recent storm, meaning by city law, the community did not get enough notice about tonight's meeting. So the hearing and possible vote on the Safe Bay proposal is now planned for the Duluth Planning Commission's May 13th meeting. As we've reported, the Duluth nonprofit Chum recently approached different congregations about opening a Safe Bay like this, and the Vineyard offered to help. The Safe Bay would allow people to park in the Vineyard's lot and safely sleep at night. The site would be staffed by Chum from 8 p.m. to 10 a.m. with check-ins every half hour. However, people living near the Vineyard Church have been sharing mixed feelings. Some see it as a kind of needed gesture, while others worried about public safety issues and noise and what they see in an otherwise quiet residential area. More and more people have been writing to the city lately. We will be hearing from the Vineyard Church coming up tonight at 10. Dan and Briggs.
All right, Ryan Hayes reporting live for us in Duluth tonight. Thank you, Ryan. By the way, people can keep sharing their thoughts on this proposal with the city's Planning and Economic Development Department.
Yeah, we have that email address on our website.